Buyers decide how they feel about your house literally within the first minute, whether you realize it or not. Before they've seen your kitchen, the updates, the price, or anything else, they already know kind of how they feel about the property before they ever walk in. Yo, what's up everybody? My name's Talon. I'm a local real estate agent here in Northeast Arkansas. Just real quick, if you've been looking to buy or sell a house and you don't already have an agent you're obligated to working with, send me a message. All my details are down below. So I've went out and showed some people some houses before. They'd send me a couple houses and they're like, hey, we want to go look at these. And we pull up and literally within seconds, you can see the excitement go from here and start to dwindle really quickly. You see their facial expressions go from happy and smiling and very excited to kind of confused and a little shocked. And why this happens is because their expectations compared to what they've seen online and to what they feel in the first 60 seconds are dramatically different. And this shift in emotions plays a big role in the decision of them buying this house. Here's the deal. We don't automatically appear inside where all the beautiful stuff is inside the house. Typically, people have to walk through a garage or up to a front porch that you've not used in maybe 20 years. And so the very first impression that we put emphasis on our listings before we hit the market is the outside. The outside is literally the first thing that a person sees when pulling up to your house. It's the yard. It's the exterior condition of the property, right? Is there cobwebs all over? Or is there dirt on the siding that needs to be power washed? Or is the garden bed taken care of? Or does it look like a dog's just been hiking the leg on it for the past 6 months? And then, of course, you graduate from the exterior during a showing, and let's just say that's mediocre. Or maybe you kind of put some lipstick on the outside, but the inside is kind of where the scary parts are happening. So we walk in and all of a sudden, the first thing that people always notice about the inside of a home is the smell. Now, I know my realtors, if they're watching right now, y'all are amening in the comments right now because we all know what it's like to walk into a house and we smell dog, we smell cats, we smell humans. Let me tell you something, guys. There's no bigger turnoff to a buyer when they walk into a house that they want to live in and bring their kids and their family and their wife in or their husband, and all of a sudden it smells like a frat house. And let me tell you something also, a Yankee Candle, it almost makes it worse sometimes. The idea is to not cover up the smell with another fragrance. The idea should be to get rid of the bad smell so that way you don't need a candle. Matter of fact, oftentimes when I walk into a showing and I see candles lit everywhere, my red flags are starting to pop up and I'm thinking, what are they trying to hide right now? But anyways, that's off the topic. So they smell these different smells and then they feel the temperature. Is it hot in here or does it kind of feel a little chilly? And then of course they see the lighting in the inside. A lot of people are drawn to natural light. Now if your home doesn't have a lot of natural light, we want to open up the curtains. We go ahead and turn on all the lights before the showing. We want to make sure that all the light bulbs are working properly. That way when they do turn the light on, it's still not a dark dungeon in this house. Like light exposes the things that are in the dark. Hey, man, that was a little spiritual there, wasn't it? But at the end of the day, people want to be able to see the house that they're looking to buy, and without lights, it is kind of hard to do that. I've walked around showings, and I've literally had to use my flashlight here, and I've been looking around trying to figure out where I'm at and where the light switch is and what's over here in this corner and maybe what's causing that smell over here. Like, at the end of the day, lights make a big difference on the expectation, or not expectation, the reality of how people feel whenever they walk through the door. Then, of course, you have this concept of the layout, okay? The next thing people are gauging within the first 60 seconds of getting in this property, beyond the outside, beyond the interior, whenever they walk in, they start looking at a couple things, whether the layout is open or closed. Is it one big open space, or is it a kind of more closed, compact space? And every room is divided. You have a kitchen, you have a dining room, you have a living room, bedrooms, all this type of stuff. And that is going to maybe automatically speak to somebody. Somebody may only love open floor or open concepts, and then some people might only want closed concepts. And so instantly, within them walking in the front door, they're going to know whether or not this house is for them. And then, of course, there's a flow to a house. We all have been in that one house that it's kind of awkward. You walk in the door and there's something really weird standing right there in front of the door. It's almost like you never went through that door. Now that your house is listed, you want to use that door instead of sending them to the garage. And people can kind of tell. And then, of course, you want to make sure that people are still gauging that how much space perception there is, whether or not they can fit the couch here, and maybe they can fit their big Christmas tree in this corner, and can they fit the dog's kennel in the bedrooms and the bathroom? Like, can they fit all of their stuff in this house? And so therefore, if your house is really cluttered and it takes away from the space of your home, all of a sudden it can actually make people hesitant on being able to mentally grasp if they can fit certain things in that area. Now, this is something that maybe as a seller you wouldn't agree with, but as a realtor, I see this all the time whenever I'm showing houses, which is people compare the condition and their emotions. And we see these two factors playing a role together and coexisting all the time. I'll see a house with a bunch of little things that need to be done that could have cost less than $100. And these little bitty things will keep a buyer from even wanting to finish the showing, all because they think that these little things tell a bigger story throughout the house. Whether or not that's true or not, I'm just telling you that oftentimes when light bulbs are flickering and paint's chipped and missing and there's holes in the walls and it stinks and, the curtains are broke and the floor is a lot, scratched up a lot, at the end of the day, these little things that can, very inexpensive fixes can unfortunately make people's emotions trigger and start to think negatively about this house. And I tell people all the time, cleanliness can actually represent value, or it can equal perceived value. And what I mean by that is, if you are a person that has a lot of clutter, if you are a person that is a hoarder and, you have a lot of stuff in your house, my sellers have told me, hey, I'm a hoarder, just fair warning, or, you got 9 cats. Look, I'm not judging you. You can do whatever you want in your house. Everyone has their own opinion and way of lifestyle, but not everyone likes cats. And whenever they walk in and see 9 cats or 4 dogs in a kennel, all of a sudden you get somebody that doesn't like cats or dogs, and that home that they could have fell in love with is all of a sudden met with a major turnoff because of something that could have been avoided. And so, not to mention, if you've got dirt on the floor, there's dust on the ceiling fans, or there's spider webs hanging up in the corners of the room, all of a sudden people start to associate the value of that home with the condition that it's in terms of cleanliness. And so I'm not saying you have to go scrub the baseboards, but you would be surprised how much a good sweeping and mopping and dusting can make your home feel in terms of value-wise to the buyer. Oftentimes when working with sellers, it's easy for people to overlook certain items. For example, the smell. You've lived in that house. You sleep in that house. You eat in that house. The smells, you typically become immune to them. And whenever I walk in, I've never been in the house, and I'm thinking, yikes, it smells in here. It's my job as a realtor to not insult you. It's my job to tell you and inform you, hey, just in case you don't know this, it smells a little like dog. Somebody might say, well, I've lived with it like that, so therefore I don't need to fix this for the next buyer. At the end of the day, we all have different standards. I know guys that they can't live in a room that has a little bitty spot of missed paint. And then I know guys that could care less if the whole wall is even intact. And so everyone has different standards. Everyone has different perspectives and opinions and backgrounds that associate their desires in their next house. And so as a seller, you must learn to be flexible. Here's what actually matters most whenever you're selling a house. Perception is greater than reality. The way people perceive your house can take away from the reality of the situation. And unfortunately, that bites people in the rear end a lot more than you think whenever it comes to selling a house. And then, of course, there's this emotional comfort attached to certain things within the house that you don't want to have to fix or touch or make smell better or whatever. At the end of the day, if you want to be able to sell your house for top dollar within the quickest amount of time, you're going to have to think objectively and say, you know what? If I got to do some things that even make myself uncomfortable a little bit, I'm willing to step out of the box and get these things done for the better of the next home owner. So look, here's the point of this video. If you've been thinking about selling a home or maybe you've had your home in the market and you can't really seem to get it sold, here's the thing I would tell you. There's a lot of little things that start to add up over a period of time that you can get ahead of before you ever even put your home in the market. Literally today, I'm going to meet with somebody that we're not planning on listing their house until another month from now because they're waiting for a new job to buy. But I'm going to go ahead and tell them some things that they can start doing to their house now. That way they can slowly start getting it ready for when we do hit the market. And yes, sometimes it sucks to have to remud up a wall and maybe paint this extra room a different color because you got a crazy hair and painted it neon green, or fix the backsplash a little bit, or retouch up some of the kitchen or bathroom. At the end of the day, these little things typically pay dividends later on whenever it goes to selling a home. And maybe not financially, but maybe time. Maybe that little bit of extra sweat equity you poured into the house will make your home sell a week or 2 weeks quicker than it would if you didn't put the extra effort into it. And that's something that's hard to pay for. Time is of the essence when selling a house. So if you've been thinking about selling, you want a professional opinion, you can book a one-on-one call with me with the link in the description below, or all my social media handles are down there, or you can go to my website and find all my personal information, reach out to me via that way. Otherwise, I would love it if you'd leave a like, comment something that maybe was educational to you, and make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I do upload other videos. Without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.